For over 2 decades, the image has been a constant in the American cultural landscape. Ripa, a dynamo of effervescent energy, and Mark Consuelos, her handsome, steady, and often mischievously dry-humored husband. On the plush couches of Live, first with Regis Philbin and later with a rotating cast of co-hosts before Mark's eventual anointing, we have witnessed a marriage play out in real time. We've seen the anniversary celebrations, the playful jabs, and the shared eye rolls at a particularly bizarre news story. We think we know them. We do not. The story sold to the public is a fairy tale, a whirlwind romance on the set of All My Children, a secret elopement in Las Vegas, and a decades-long marriage in the ruthless world of Hollywood. It's a wonderful story, and it's true, but it's also a facade, a polished, audience-friendly version of a much more complex, gritty, and profoundly human reality. The untold story of Kelly and Mark isn't found in the headlines or the anniversary Instagram posts. It's hidden in the quiet moments before the on-air light blinks red, in the private language of their shared glances, and in the unshakable foundation they've built not as celebrities, but as partners in a relentless, high-wire act of life, love, and live television. This is the story from the other side of the camera. To understand Kelly and Mark, one must first understand their battlefield and sanctuary, Studio 6A at the ABC headquarters on New York's Upper West Side. Long before the audience files in, buzzing with anticipation, and hours before the theme music swells, the studio is a hollow, silent cavern. It is in this pre-dawn quiet that the true nature of their partnership is most palpable. Kelly is always the first to arrive. This is a non-negotiable. Her reputation as a morning person is not just a chirpy affectation, it is a strategic professional necessity. By 5:30 a.m., she is already in her dressing room, a space that is less a green room and more a command center. It is meticulously organized. The script for the day is laid out, already annotated with her distinctive, looping handwriting. She isn't just reading her lines, she is engineering the flow of the show, identifying potential pitfalls and crafting the spontaneous banter that will feel off the cuff to the millions watching. Mark's arrival, usually around 6:15 a.m., is a study in contrast. Where Kelly is a controlled storm of preparation, Mark brings a calming, grounded energy. He doesn't burst in, he settles in. His first stop is almost always her dressing room. There is no grand romantic gesture, no sweeping kiss for the cameras. It's a quiet, almost ritualistic check-in. A hand on her shoulder as she scans the script, a low, "You good?" and a shared look in the mirror. This is the first layer of their private world, a silent reaffirmation of, "We're in this together," before the world is allowed in. A production assistant from the early 2010s, who wished to remain anonymous, recalls a telling moment. One morning, Kelly was visibly stressed. A segment had fallen through, a pre-tape was corrupted. It was just one of those days. The producers were buzzing around her with frantic suggestions. Mark walked in, took one look at her, went to the small kitchenette, and made her a very specific cup of tea. One sugar, a splash of milk, the way only he knew. He didn't say a word about the show. He just placed it next to her, squeezed her hand, and sat down. Within minutes, you could see her shoulders relax. He wasn't her co-host in that moment. He was her anchor. That's something the audience never sees. This pre-show ritual is their strategic huddle. They run through the host chat, not just as performers, but as editors for each other. "Is that too mean?" Kelly will ask, pointing to a joke. Mark, with his innate sense of comedic timing and boundary, will offer a slight tweak that retains the edge but removes the sting. He is her most trusted barometer for taste, and she is his catalyst for energy. He tempers her, she ignites him. In these moments, they are a perfectly balanced creative unit, a two-person writer's room where the currency is trust and the product is their shared public persona. Once the on-air light illuminates, Kelly and Mark transform into the versions the public knows. Kelly is all sparkling wit and animated expression. Mark is the charming straight man, the master of the deadpan reaction. But to watch them closely, to truly study their interaction during the live broadcast, is to witness a complex, silent dialogue happening just beneath the surface of the banter. They have developed a lexicon of looks, a marital Morse code transmitted in split-second glances. There is the "save me" look, usually from Mark when he's gone on a tangent that is getting a little too tangential or has told an inside joke that might be too inside. Kelly, with the precision of a neurosurgeon, will seamlessly jump in, reframe the story, and bring it back to a place of universal understanding, all while maintaining the illusion that it was a collaborative effort. There is the "you're up" look. When a guest gives a bizarre or unintentionally hilarious answer, a quick, almost imperceptible glance between them signals who will take the comedic lead in responding. It's a nonverbal negotiation of who can land the better joke without piling on the guest. Then there's the check-in look. This is the most profound. During a particularly emotional or vulnerable guest segment, you will see Kelly's effervescence soften. She will listen intently, and then almost instinctively, her eyes will flicker towards Mark. It's not for a cue, it's for connection. It's a silent acknowledgement of a shared human moment, a grounding in the reality that exists beyond the performance. He will often meet her gaze with a slight, nearly invisible nod, a quiet, "I see it too." This subtle exchange is the bedrock of their on-air chemistry. It is empathy, shared and amplified. A former director of the show notes, "We have 7 cameras running, and the best moments aren't on the main shot, they're on the isolated cameras." You'll see Kelly telling a hilarious story to the audience, and the isolated on Mark will catch him watching her with this mixture of awe and adoration, like he's hearing it for the first time. And vice versa. When Mark is quietly charming a guest, Kelly will often be watching him, not as a co-host waiting for her turn, but as a partner genuinely proud of her husband. That's something you can't script or fake. The fairy tale narrative obscures the immense, deliberate work required to sustain a partnership under such intense public scrutiny. Their marriage is not a happy accident. It is a meticulously built and fiercely protected institution. The untold story is one of constant, quiet negotiation. The division of labor. In the public eye, Kelly is the undisputed star of the show, the engine of the franchise. But off-camera, their roles are fluid and negotiated with a sophistication that would be the envy of any corporate board. They have spoken openly about the challenges of 2 high-powered careers, but the nuance is in the daily execution. When Kelly is in the thick of a production cycle for Live or one of her other projects, Mark seamlessly shifts to become the primary logistical center for their family. He manages schedules, attends school events, and is the go-to parent. And when his projects, like Riverdale or his production company, demand his focus, Kelly recalibrates. There is no scorekeeping. There is only the shared goal of keeping the ship steady. This extends to their social dynamic. Kelly is famously outgoing and loves the energy of a crowd. Mark is more introverted and recharges through solitude. They have built a life that accommodates both. Glamorous, star-studded events followed by quiet, device-free weekends at their country home. It is a marriage of compromise, not born of resentment, but of a deep understanding of the other's fundamental needs. The wall of privacy, perhaps their most significant and least understood achievement, is the construction of an impenetrable wall around their children and their private life. In an era of oversharing, they are masters of the art of strategic revelation. They will share a funny anecdote about their children, but the kids themselves are never the product. Their faces are blurred in social media posts, their personal struggles guarded with ferocity. This is a conscious, daily battle. It requires saying no to lucrative offers for family reality shows, turning down interviews that probe too deeply, and meticulously controlling the narrative around their home. This wall isn't built out of paranoia, but out of a profound commitment to giving their children a normal childhood, away from the glare that defines their parents' professional lives. This shared mission, to protect their family unit, has, in turn, strengthened their marital bond. They are not just husband and wife. They are co-conspirators, bodyguards, and architects of a private world. No marriage of 28 years is without conflict. For Kelly and Mark, the unique pressure cooker of a live television show adds a surreal dimension to marital strife. The untold story is how they have learned to weaponize their conflict, transforming it into comedic fuel and developing a conflict resolution style that operates at lightning speed. Imagine a morning where they've had a disagreement at home. Perhaps it was about something trivial, a misplaced set of keys, a misunderstood text. The residual tension is in the car on the way to work. For most couples, they'd have the day to cool off. For Kelly and Mark, they have 90 minutes before they have to perform as the happiest, most compatible couple on television. This is where their professionalism and their partnership fuse. They have a rule, unofficially stated, but rigorously observed. The show is sacred. The argument gets shelved the moment they walk into the studio. But rather than just suppressing it, they have learned to alchemize it. There was one memorable show where you could just feel a little frost in the air during the pre-show prep. Nothing major, just one of those married couple moments. Then, during host chat, Mark made a joke that was a direct, veiled reference to their morning tiff. Only Kelly knew it. She shot him a look that the audience interpreted as playful exasperation, but we knew was half real.